report of an active shooter. If they get a report of an active shooter at the Alpha checkpoint, all radios respond in kind.
So the scenario involved two active shooters. Two unidentified suspects were going to walk into the terminal. They're going to walk up to the ticket counter. They were going to start shooting people at the ticket counter. Then they were going to work their way up the concourse, shooting people as they went until finally the threat was eliminated by law enforcement. The law enforcement consisted of multiple agencies. It was not only airport police, but it was U.S. Border Patrol, it was U.S. Customs. Eventually it was Tucson Police Department, Pima County Sheriff's Department. So we had to integrate with all of those people to address the threat. Once the threat was addressed and the shooters were neutralized, the next part of it became the Rescue Task Force portion.
Rescue Task Force is a new concept that we've been proceeding with with local departments and training over the last 2 years. It actually integrates fire and police personnel and allows us to go in quickly to an active shooter scenario and address potential victims. In the past, in this type of an incident, we would not go in until deemed safe by law enforcement. And what this allows us to do, integrating as a rescue task force team with law enforcement, is to go in undercover and medically treat critically ill patients, get them to transport and to a facility for immediate care. With our policies and procedures that we've developed, we're able to take that to our community and mutual aid responders and share this knowledge and grow this as a community response instead of just a local response at the international airport.
We've been training for over 18 months for this day. And as we trained, we recognized there were some gaps. We tried to fill the gaps in pre-training before the exercise even happened. Once the exercise occurred, we saw it work flawlessly. Fire and police worked together, multi-agencies worked together. We rescued several injured people that night. There were some innovative ways that they were rescued, which was great. We learned a lot. We learned that we needed to continue to work together and to continue to train, because this is a discipline that over time can erode if you don't continually train. So our goal and our methodology was to train before the drill, train during the drill obviously, and then train again after the drill to make sure we start filling those gaps.
I'd just like to say thank you very much for your participation. This is the first time we've ever done this from a 911 phone call, working all the way through our communication center, responding units in, and actually treating transporting and treating patients in the hospital. So this is the first time we've seen it all the way through.
We are prepared now in a mass casualty event. If there was an active shooter or hostage situation or hostile situation at our airport, we are prepared to deal with it now much better than we ever have been before.
The Triennial drill is every 3 years, so we're planning almost a year out. So we look at our budget the year before and we try to put together a cost analysis and put together what we think we want to do and how we will accomplish it. And in this case, the public safety group came to me with a budget that I thought was quite reasonable for an event of this scale and magnitude. And I felt it was an important scenario to practice, and it was important to support the needs of the drill. We were very careful with the budget, but we were also practicing something that if it happens in real life, we can be prepared.
Normally what you do in these types of scenarios is you run an aircraft accident, mass casualty event, people go onto the airfield, they rescue the people who need to be rescued and transport them. We've done that several times here. I was more interested in doing something more in line with what's going on in our society right now, which was an active shooter event. So we started talking that through, understanding that if you're going to do an active shooter type scenario in our airport, there's a lot of logistical concerns that you have.
Not going to lie, it's very intimidating to take on such a daunting task, to plan a drill of this magnitude, using a live terminal and all the community relations and entities involved. It took countless man-hours to make this happen. The end result, everything went pretty much as planned. But one thing we did learn is there's a reason why we're training, is to find our mistakes and better ourselves from it.
The benefit of doing it in the concourse live with passengers coming in is the fact that we want the training to be as realistic as possible, because that allows them to identify the areas that they want to change or work on, and that allows us then to go back and make those adjustments and do additional training and be better prepared as a community.
Well, using the terminal was important because it needs to be real world to some extent when you practice, so that if the real event should occur, the people that are in the drill are experiencing a real terminal environment.
Let's go ahead and get a mutual aid request to City Fire and Air National Guard. Advise them possible mass casualty situation out here.
The public safety side had a huge amount of responsibility because they had to address a threat. They had to work together with other agencies using a common radio frequency and common language to make sure that everyone understood what everyone else was doing. We threw a couple of wrinkles into the scenario. We had a non-uniformed police officer on the concourse addressing the threat, and I wanted to see what our uniformed personnel would do when they encountered that person. It didn't go so well, and that was on purpose. It gave us something to think about when a non-uniformed officer is on that concourse. What do we do about it to identify that person? Those are things that logistically we need to deal with. So public safety's response during this was a huge learning curve for them as well. Outside agencies came to our airport. They realized the complexity of an airport. This is not like a mall. It's not like a convenience store. It is a completely different environment for public safety to operate in. So they had to learn that. Once they got here, they did that. They learned, and now they recognize how critical it is for them to continue to participate in any of our training exercises out here. So in planning something like this, the security component is critical. Part of the event happened in the public side of things. The other part happened in the sterile side of things, so past the security checkpoints. When you have something like this going on, you are introducing firearms or simulated firearms into a secure environment. It happened after hours. We had to cordon off the entire sterile area that we were going to use for this scenario. We created, in essence, an alleyway for all of the participants to use their firearms in, and make sure that all of that stuff was taken out prior to the checkpoints becoming operational again the next day.
We want to thank our community partners for participating, our mutual aid agencies, everything from police to fire, emergency medical, ambulance transport, and including Banner Medical Center, who simulated treating the patients. And we had a tremendous amount of volunteers who came out, more than twice as many as we expected, to help participate in the scenario and learn from it. This was the largest event. We do this every 3 years, but this was the largest participation that we have ever had. The interest was very high from all members of the community, and we want to express our appreciation to everyone who assisted us